In a quiet corner of the Milky Way, there was a small blue planet that many alien empires never took seriously. A planet called Earth. To most advanced species, humans were considered simple and slow. Their ships were made of metal, not crystal. Their weapons fired bullets, not plasma. Their technology looked old compared to the shining machines of the galaxy. No one saw them as a threat. But far beneath a frozen mountain on Earth, something hidden and powerful was waking up. The mountain was silent on the outside. Snow covered the steep cliffs. Cold winds moved across the empty slopes. Nothing suggested danger. Nothing suggested life. But inside the mountain was a secret base known as Black Ridge Station. Long metal tunnels ran deep under the rock. Blue lights glowed softly along the walls. Machines hummed like sleeping giants. Engineers worked quietly, moving with focus and calm. And at the heart of the base stood a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Commander Rylan Ward walked slowly through the main tunnel. His boots echoed with each step. Ahead of him, a massive steel structure stretched across the chamber, a long, heavy weapon supported by magnetic coils the size of vehicles. It did not look graceful. It did not look modern. But it held a power that could change the future of Earth. This was a Railgun, a weapon designed to use pure speed instead of energy beams. A weapon humans hoped they would never need to use. Far above the planet, a Vorn Empire scout ship drifted quietly through space. Inside, the alien captain watched Earth on his screen with confident eyes. "Primitive world," he said. "Nothing here can hurt us." He ordered a scan. A bright pulse spread across Earth's orbit and flowed down through the atmosphere. It touched human satellites. It passed over cities, forests, and oceans. Then it reached the frozen mountain. The monitors on the alien ship flickered. Strange magnetic waves. Unnatural energy spikes. Readings that did not belong to any known human technology. The captain leaned closer. What is inside that mountain? Before anyone could answer, the ship shook once hard. A small object, no larger than a human fist, had just cut through the entire hull from one side to the other. No light, no fire, only a silent line of destruction. The ship exploded into darkness. Only the black box survived. Its last recording was a terrified whisper. No plasma, no laser, only metal moving too fast. Across the galaxy, alien leaders argued in shock. How could humans create something so fast? How could a simple piece of metal destroy a ship? Fear quietly entered their voices. Back on Earth, inside Black Ridge Station, Dr. Mira Hale checked the glowing coils of the railgun. "We were scanned," she said softly. The system reacted automatically. A slug fired. Commander Rylan looked at the weapon with a steady expression. "Then the aliens know something is here." "They will come," Mira replied. Rylan nodded. Humans had always been underestimated. Aliens never believed humans could build something this powerful. They thought kinetic weapons were old, weak, and slow. But humans had learned one simple truth. A small piece of metal, if pushed fast enough, becomes unstoppable. The railgun was proof. In orbit, a second Vorn ship arrived. This one was larger, stronger, and cautious. Inside, the captain studied the black box data and frowned. "A metal projectile destroyed our ship," he said. "No heat, no energy, only speed." He ordered the ship closer. On Earth, Black Ridge Station detected them immediately. Dr. Mira looked at Rylan. "They found us." Commander Rylan did not hesitate. Charged the railgun. Deep inside the mountain, the magnetic coils began to glow brighter. The floor vibrated. Air trembled. A deep hum spread through the tunnels as the weapon came alive. The silent weapon of Earth had awakened, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. High above Earth, the Vorn Empire's observation ship drifted quietly into orbit. The darkness of space wrapped around it like a cold blanket. Inside, the crew stood still as the captain watched the last recording from the destroyed scout ship. A frightened voice echoed through the room. "No plasma, no laser, only metal moving too fast." The captain paused the message. His jaw tightened. "This weapon does not match human history," he said. Humans build simple guns, not this. Yet the hole in the destroyed ship told the truth. A tiny metal slug, moving faster than any known weapon, had ripped the vessel apart. Behind him, the tactical officer spoke. Should we avenge the scout ship captain? The captain shook his head slowly. No, we observe. Humans have built something new, something dangerous. He turned toward the viewing window. Earth glowed below like a calm, quiet world. Beautiful, fragile, peaceful. But the captain knew peace was a lie. Something powerful lived under one of those mountains. Inside Black Ridge Station, the railgun's magnetic coils pulsed with blue light. The mountain trembled softly as the weapon prepared for a potential shot. Commander Rylan Ward stood next to the massive structure. Dr. Mira Hale worked beside him, her eyes fixed on the screens showing incoming signals. They scanned us again, she said quietly. But this time the scan was softer. They're being careful. Rylan nodded. They know one wrong move will get them hit. Mira looked up at him. They won't stay cautious forever. This is a Vorn Empire. Rylan glanced at the glowing coils. We didn't build this weapon to start a war, he said, but we will not lose one. The weapon hummed deeper, as if agreeing. In orbit, the alien captain triggered a slow, silent scan. A thin line of energy swept over Earth, measured, controlled, almost gentle. This time the captain didn't want to provoke anything. As the scan reached the frozen mountain, the reading suddenly warped. Static, darkness, impossible magnetic distortion. The ship's screens flickered and glitched. The captain leaned forward. What are they hiding? His science officer answered carefully. It feels like a shadow wrapped around the mountain. Something is blocking our scan. The captain stared at the snowy peak displayed before him. Clever humans, he whispered. Back on Earth. Dr. Mira pointed to her console. They're scanning from orbit again. Different frequency. Rylan's eyes narrowed. They want to understand the weapon. Mira nodded slowly. And they will not leave until they do. Rylan moved closer to the main monitor, where the alien ship appeared as a purple shape against the black of space. Even from this distance, it looked sharp and dangerous. They are keeping outside our automatic fire range, Mira said. Of course, Rylan replied. They learn fast. A few decks above, inside the alien observation room, the captain studied new readings as they formed across the screen. Small vibrations beneath the mountain, faint magnetic pulses, growing power. The captain's voice hardened. It is preparing, he said. That weapon, it is alive. Another officer stepped forward. Captain, should we retreat? Retreat? The captain repeated softly. No, not yet. Knowledge is worth the danger. He turned to his crew. Send drones. Small ones. Silent. Hard to detect. I want eyes on that mountain. Moments later, tiny black drones launched from the ship. They drifted down toward Earth like dark seeds floating through space. In Black Ridge Station, Myra's screen flashed. They're sending drones, she said. Rylan didn't look surprised. They want to see what they cannot scan. Mira typed quickly. They're small, but not invisible. Rylan stepped closer to the railgun. Its coils brightened with every second. Let them approach, he said calmly. The mountain vibrated softly. Air shifted. Metal hummed like a waking storm. Rylan watched the readings with steady eyes. If the enemy wants to watch us, he said, then they will see what Earth is capable of. The silent weapon waited. The enemy watched, and the space between them grew heavier with every passing second. Lucas did not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same thing, the red-eyed alien standing in the dark field, watching him, smiling like it already knew his future. By morning, his whole body felt heavy. But he forced himself to get up. He had a long drive ahead, and he needed answers. Real answers, not the half-truths Dr. Mira gave him yesterday. He stepped outside the motel, and the cold wind cut across the parking lot. The world felt quieter than normal. Too quiet. Lucas took a slow breath. He knew the enemy was close. He could feel it. The road to nowhere. Lucas started driving toward the abandoned research station Mira had mentioned, a place she described in only 3 words. They built it there. She didn't explain who they were, but Lucas understood one thing. Whatever lived inside that red-eyed alien, whatever infected Myra's blood, started in that hidden facility. As he drove, the morning fog thickened, turning the world into gray shadows. His phone lost signal. The highway emptied. And then he saw something in the mirror, a black far behind him, but getting closer. At first he thought it was a car, but cars didn't move like that. This shape glided. It didn't bounce. It didn't sway. It floated. Lucas gripped the steering wheel tighter. Not again, he whispered. A presence in the fog. He accelerated. The shape accelerated too. The fog swallowed everything around him, but that shadow kept growing, getting clearer, getting faster. Lucas's heart pounded. He pressed the pedal hard, but the shape suddenly rose higher, lifting above the ground. And then he knew this was not a human enemy. This was the same silent watcher from last night, the one that stood in the field and stared at him without blinking. Now it was following him. Now it wanted something, the voice that wasn't there. The shadow came so close that Lucas felt a vibration in the car, like a deep hum shaking the metal. He swallowed hard. Stay calm, he whispered, but the humming shifted into a voice, not through his ears, through his mind, a whisper that did not belong to any living creature on Earth. Stop running. We see you. Lucas's breath froze. He didn't answer. He couldn't. The voice came again, colder this time. You carry what belongs to us. Lucas didn't know what that meant, until he remembered the small mark Mira showed him under his skin. The tiny glowing pattern she called a signal. Was that what they wanted? His blood? His DNA? Or something inside him that even Mira didn't understand yet? The chase ends. The fog cleared suddenly, and Lucas spotted a narrow turn on the right. Without thinking, he swung the wheel and took the side road. His tires screeched. The shadow behind him dipped suddenly, as if surprised. Then it vanished, gone like smoke and wind. Lucas parked on the dirt path, chest heaving. He stepped out, listening. The forest around him was silent. No voice, no humming, no red eyes. But something else caught his attention. Footprints. Fresh, deep, not human. They led deeper into forest, straight toward the same abandoned station Mira mentioned. Lucas stared at the path for a long moment. He knew he had 2 choices. Run back to safety, or follow the trail of something that wasn't human, something that watched him from the moment this began. He took a deep breath, and he followed. The shadow was not alone. The forest grew darker, colder. Every sound felt unnatural, as if the trees themselves were listening. After 10 minutes, Lucas reached a metal fence half buried in dirt and vines. Beyond it stood a massive concrete building, silent and broken, like something terrible had escaped from it long ago. Lucas lifted the rusty gate and stepped inside. The moment he did, he felt a sharp wave of pressure behind him, like a presence had just arrived. Slowly he turned, and his blood ran cold. 3 figures stood at the tree line, tall, thin, unmoving, their red eyes glowing like burning coals in the fog. Not 1, not 2, 3 watchers, all staring at him, all waiting. And then, in the same cold voice inside his mind, they whispered together, "Welcome back, Lucas." Lucas stumbled backward. Back? What did they mean back? He had never been here before. He would remember a place like this. He would remember creatures like them. Wouldn't he? Before he could react, the figure stepped forward, moving in perfect silence. The enemy was no longer watching. The enemy was coming. Lucas stood frozen. 3 red-eyed figures walked slowly toward him, their movements too smooth, too controlled, almost like they were gliding instead of stepping. Every instinct in his body screamed to run, but his legs refused to move. The creatures stopped at the edge of the broken courtyard. They didn't attack. They didn't speak aloud. Instead, their voices echoed straight into his mind, cold, layered, and inhuman. You returned, just like before. Lucas swallowed hard. "I've never been here," he whispered. All three tilted their heads at the same angle, like they were studying him. Then one of them stepped forward. "You do not remember. That is expected." Lucas felt a chill run down his spine. What did they mean? What had he forgotten? The lead creature lifted a long, skeletal hand and pointed toward the abandoned building. "Inside. The truth waits for you." Lucas didn't want to go inside, but something deeper, something he couldn't explain, pulled him forward. The creatures did not follow. They simply watched, as if guarding the outside. But the moment Lucas stepped through the broken doorway, he felt it, a strange familiarity, like he had walked these halls once before. Whispers in the dark. The building smelled of rust, dust, and something older. The air buzzed faintly, like electricity hiding in the walls. Lucas walked slowly, shining his phone's flashlight across peeling paint and collapsed ceilings. Every step echoed too loudly. After a few minutes, he entered a long hallway, lined with shattered glass windows. Behind them were empty rooms, except one. A faint blue light glowed behind the last door. Lucas stopped breathing for a moment. Something inside that room was alive. He stepped closer, the door slightly open, a cold draft slipping out like the breath of a sleeping creature. When he pushed it open, he saw it, and everything inside him froze. The chamber of memory. The room was circular, filled with floating screens, thin holograms flickering in and out. In the center stood a metallic chair with straps, wires, and a helmet-like device attached to it. Beside the chair was a tall glass cylinder filled with pale blue liquid. Inside the liquid, something moved. A shape, a body, a human-like figure curled like it was asleep. Lucas stepped closer, heart pounding. Then his eyes widened. The face inside the cylinder was his own reflection, his own features, his own body, floating unconscious, perfectly still. What is this?" Lucas whispered, stepping back. On the nearest hologram, text began to flicker automatically. Subject L13, memory reset cycle number 6 active. Status, return protocol initiated. Lucas felt his breath leave his lungs. Memory reset? Cycle 6? What return protocol? He turned toward the chair, suddenly realizing he had been here before. They weren't lying. Something had erased his memories. Something had brought him back again and again. He didn't know why. He didn't know how. But the truth was right in front of him. His real body silent inside the tube, and the Lucas standing here, breathing, shaking, terrified. Was he even the original? Or just another copy? The first recording. One of the screens blinked and a video started playing automatically. The image was grainy, but the voice was clear. Lucas's own voice. If you're watching this, it means the watchers took your memory again. Lucas leaned forward, heart racing. "You don't have much time," the recording continued. "They think you belong to them. They think your DNA carries something they created. But they're wrong. You were not made by them, you escaped them." The recording, Lucas looked scared, terrified, but they will come for you. They always come for you. Lucas stared at the screen, trembling. The him in the video whispered one final line. "And whatever you do, do not trust a woman. She knows more than she tells you." Mira, the only person trying to help him. The screen went black. The return of the watchers. Footsteps echoed behind him. Slow, heavy, intentional. Lucas turned. The 3 red-eyed creatures stood in the doorway now, all staring at the chamber, at him, at the tube containing the original Lucas. Their voices entered his mind again, all speaking as one. "It is time to return, Subject L13. Lucas backed away. "No," he whispered. He didn't know who he was anymore. A copy? The original? A failed experiment? But he knew one thing. He was not going with them. He sprinted toward the side door. But the creatures moved fast, almost teleporting forward. Lucas grabbed the nearest object, a metal tray, and threw it to distract them. The creatures paused for 1 second. 1 second was enough. Lucas ran, bursting into the hallway, heart pounding like a war drum. Behind him, The creatures followed. Silent, relentless. This time, they were not watching. They were hunting. Lucas ran to the dark hallway as fast as he could. His footsteps echoed against the broken walls, and each echo reminded him that the creatures were close. Too close. Behind him, the red-eyed watchers moved without sound. No breathing. No footsteps. No warning. Just cold presence, getting closer with every second. Lucas turned a sharp corner and nearly slipped, grabbing the wall to keep himself from falling. His chest burned, and fear made his legs unstable. But he kept running. He had seen his own body in that tube. He had watched the recording of himself. He had heard the creatures call him Subject L-13. None of it made sense, but one thing was clear. He had been here before. And every time they caught him, every time they reset him. Not today. The hidden door. Lucas reached a collapsed hallway blocked by broken concrete. There was no way through. He turned around, but the watchers were already entering the corridor, their red eyes glowing like 3 burning stars. Lucas's heart crashed inside his chest. He scanned the walls desperately, searching, looking, and then he saw it. A thin metal plate half buried under dust. A door. No handle. No button. Completely sealed. But something inside him whispered, "Push it." Without thinking, Lucas pressed his palm against the cold metal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a soft click. The wall slid open silently. A hidden passage. Lucas slipped inside, and the door shut behind him, leaving the watchers outside. He heard their psychic voices buzzing faintly. He remembered something. This is not expected. Lucas didn't understand what he had remembered, but something deep inside him did. Something buried. Something old. Something the creatures had missed. The silent elevator. The hidden passage led to a small elevator. No lights, no buttons, only a smooth metal interior. As soon as Lucas stepped inside, the doors closed and the elevator moved downward on its own. Cold air filled the space. His breath fogged in front of him. "How many floors underground does this place have?" he whispered. But the elevator didn't answer. After long seconds, it stopped with a soft thud. The doors opened. Lucas stepped into a room, so bright it hurt his eyes. White walls, white floor, white ceiling, and in the center, a single large table with a projection device on top. The device activated automatically. A hologram appeared. Lucas's face again, but older, tired, worn out, almost broken. Older Lucas spoke calmly. "If you have reached this room, it means you escaped the Watchers longer than before. Good. It means your memory is starting to fight back." Lucas's throat tightened. The hologram continued. "You were one of their top experiments. They didn't create you, not fully. You carried something they could not control, something that belonged only to humans." The image flickered. "That is why they erased you. That is why they reset you. Because the thing inside you, your mind, kept resisting." Lucas clenched his fists. The hologram leaned closer. "This place, this bunker, we built it as a last defense. A place their influence cannot reach." Lucas whispered, "Who are we?" The hologram paused, then answered, "You, me, all the versions before you." Lucas felt the world tilt. He had built this place, a past version of him. But why? The hologram's final message was short. "When you hear the alarm, run. Do not look back. The Watchers will enter soon." Then the hologram vanished. The alarm. As if on cue, a deep, shaking alarm roared through the bunker. A red warning light flashed. Lucas turned around and saw the elevator doors closing. Something slammed against the other side. Heavy, powerful. The Watchers had found him. Lucas backed away slowly. The metal dented from the outside. Again and again, cracks spread across the elevator door. The Watchers' voices seeped through like cold smoke. "Return, Subject L-13. You cannot run from what you are." Lucas ran to the far wall. A staircase led down to another level. He sprinted down the stairs as the elevator door finally snapped open behind him. The Watchers flowed into the white chamber. Too fast, too silent, too focused. Lucas didn't dare look back. The bunker lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something deeper was waking up, or breaking. He reached the next corridor, breathing hard, mind racing, heart slamming against his ribs. But the moment he crossed into the hallway, the floor shook beneath his feet, not from footsteps, not from the watchers, but from something else entirely. Another force, something bigger, something older, something that the watchers feared. Lucas didn't know what waited ahead, but he knew one thing. Whatever was coming next would change everything. Lucas ran through the endless corridor, his breath coming in sharp gasps. The white walls twisted into darkness ahead, and the deeper he went, the colder the air became. Every step echoed, but now it felt different, alive. The building itself seemed to breathe. Behind him, the watchers pressed forward. Their red eyes never left him. Their whispers filled his mind. You could not escape, Subject L-13. Lucas's hands shook as he rounded a corner and entered a massive chamber unlike anything he had seen before. The ceiling soared high above, lost in shadows. The floor was cracked concrete, but beneath it, strange metallic lights pulsed. And in the center of the room, something massive stirred. A giant metallic shape slowly emerged from the floor, rising as if the building itself had summoned it. Steel plates slid apart like the shell of an ancient creature. Powerful magnets hummed, filling the chamber with low, vibrating energy. Lucas froze. He realized this wasn't just a machine. This was alive. The guardian of the bunker. The watchers halted at the chamber's entrance. Even they seemed hesitant now, their glowing eyes scanning the massive shape. Lucas took a cautious step forward. The giant mechanism turned slowly toward him. Its surface reflected the dim light in shards, like mirrors catching fire. Gears whirred. Hydraulic pistons hissed. And then the railgun inside the chamber activated. Not the mountain weapon. This one. Bigger. Faster. Stronger. A prototype Lucas remembered only in flashes. Memories from another life. Energy surged along its barrel, humming louder and louder, shaking the entire floor. The watchers flinched as sparks jumped along its coils. Lucas felt the power resonate in his body. The thing inside him, his memory, his mind, something that had been erased, recognized the weapon. It pulsed. He realized the watchers weren't the real threat. They were only a warning. The truth revealed. A deep voice filled the chamber. Not from the watchers. Not from Lucas. You are ready now. Lucas spun around. No one. But the metallic machine pulsed again, and he saw a holographic figure rise from the coils. It was him. Older. Stronger. Complete. Every version of you was prepared for this moment, the hologram said. The watchers underestimated humans because they only see what they can measure. Speed. Strength. Weapons. But humans, we create something they cannot predict. Lucas's heart raced. The memory floods began. Faces. Places. Experiments. Failures. Successes. He remembered the mountain weapon. He remembered the first scout ship destroyed in orbit. He remembered Miro warning him. And now, he remembered the reason he was running. He carried the key to something the watchers wanted. Something that could destroy them all. The first strike. The metallic machine's coils glowed brighter, and the entire chamber vibrated. Lucas approached slowly. The watchers hissed, voices merging into one. Subject L-13, stop this. You do not understand. Lucas stopped. He looked at the weapon, the energy thrumming like lightning waiting to leap. And he realized they were right. He didn't understand yet. But he trusted one thing. He trusted himself. He activated the railgun. Energy surged through the floor. The watchers staggered. The air burned with power. Lucas felt the force rush into him. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a message, a warning, and the watchers recoiled. For the first time, they hesitated. The awakening below. From the cracks in the floor, deep below the chamber, more light began to rise. Massive shapes shifted. Shadows stretched. Lucas understood instantly. The bunker was alive. It had waited for him. It had protected him. And now it would fight with him. The watchers' red eyes flared. They realized too late. Humans were not alone. Lucas took a deep breath and stepped forward. The machine pulsed once more, louder. Energy surged, and the chamber trembled. The Watchers had underestimated him. They had underestimated humanity, and the war had just begun. Lucas stood at the center of the massive chamber, his body tense, his mind racing. The Watchers surrounded the edges, their red eyes glowing like embers in the dim light. The metallic machine behind him pulsed with energy, humming like a living beast. He knew one thing clearly. There was no turning back. The Watchers hissed in unison. Subject L-13, surrender. You cannot control this power. Lucas shook his head. No, I control it. And you're about to learn why humans are not what you expected. He stepped forward. The machine's coils glowed brighter, feeding energy into him. Memories of every previous cycle, every experiment, every failed attempt filled his mind. He understood now. He wasn't just running anymore. He was fighting. The first strike. With a sudden motion, Lucas raised his hands, and the metallic machine fired. Not a normal projectile, not a bullet or a laser. Energy arcs surged along the rails, invisible at first, then striking the Watchers with deadly speed. The Watchers screamed inside his mind as each pulse hit them. They stumbled. Their red eyes flickered. Lucas's pulse matched the machine's. He moved with it. He became it. Every strike precise. Every strike unstoppable. One by one, the Watchers fell back, their forms flickering. They hadn't counted on one thing. The weapon was not just in the machine. It was in him. The awakening of humanity. From beneath the chamber, the bunker's deep light surged. Steel and stone shifted, rising like living walls. Energy crackled through the floor. The Watchers realized too late. The bunker itself was alive. It responded to Lucas. It fought with him. The Watchers hissed. This is impossible. They cannot fight like this. They're not just humans. Lucas didn't answer. He focused on the coils, on the energy, on the memory inside him. Every version of him. Every trial, every escape had led to this moment. He stepped forward, and the pulse of the machine extended beyond the bunker. The mountain railgun, the one hidden deep inside Black Ridge, activated remotely. A streak of metal, moving faster than light, tore through the atmosphere. One of the Vorn ships in orbit was destroyed instantly, ripped apart by kinetic force. The collapse of fear. The remaining Watchers froze. They realized their control was gone. They realized humans were not weak. They realized humans had something they could never measure. Adaptability. Resilience. Willpower. Lucas stood tall, chest heaving, eyes glowing faintly from the energy flowing through him. The metallic machine pulsed one last time, releasing a wave of light that pushed the Watchers back. The room fell silent. The Watchers had retreated, their influence broken. Lucas looked at the chamber, at the machine, and finally at himself. He was still alive. He had survived. He had won. The choice. But victory came with a cost. The bunker trembled, the machine overheating. Lucas knew it couldn't hold forever. He had a choice. Stay and risk being destroyed with the bunker, or leave and carry this power into the world, a secret that could change the galaxy forever. He took a deep breath, stepped toward the elevator. The Watchers would return. They always would. But now Lucas knew humans were not what the galaxy expected. And the next time they came, they would face something they could never ignore. The final doors of the bunker closed behind him, and the chamber fell silent once more. The war was far from over, but Earth had its first victory, and Lucas was ready.